She texted me at 10:03 a.m. "The power is out. Can I hang out at your apartment if it doesn't come on soon?" Super hot. It was 92 degrees outside, humidity sitting thick like a blanket over everything. Heat warnings were blaring across every local channel, but I was already mid-shift, 12 hours deep into running a summer festival. The kind of job where you don't even get time to sit down, let alone figure out how to unlock your door for someone who doesn't have a key. And there's a reason my mom doesn't have a key. I typed back quickly, "Do you have a key?" Also, it's pretty hot in my apartment, even with the AC on. So IDK, how much better it is, LOL. You might have more luck going to like the library or a coffee shop. I knew it was soft, too soft. But I've learned that, with my mom, clarity invites chaos. She responded immediately. "I don't have a key, but I'd rather hang out there than the library if I can." I already knew where this was going. IDK, how you'd get in without a key. The words felt useless. I could already hear her next ask, right on cue, "Can your girlfriend let me in? She's working till 4 today." She paused, then went in for the real question, the one she wanted to ask from the beginning. "Can I get a key from you? Or do you not want me there?" That was the moment it pivoted. Not just a favor anymore. It was an accusation in disguise, a loaded question carved to make me choose between my peace and her approval. I stared at the screen. I didn't have time for this. "I'm running around a lot today, IDK, when I could give you the key, or how I'd get it back." Then it came. "That makes me feel great." And a few minutes later, "Please." I didn't respond. I left her on red. And immediately, the guilt rushed in like a tidal wave. But let me take you back. Because this story, like most family stories, doesn't begin with a heat wave. It begins with boundaries that were never allowed to exist. I moved out 2 years ago. I was 22, exhausted and desperate for space. Not just physical, but emotional. The kind of space you crave when you've been someone else's therapist since middle school. When you've been the adult in the house, parenting your parent. When I left, I asked if I could take my mattress and bed frame with me. Her answer? No. I bought them for the room. As if my comfort wasn't mine to own, only hers to control. I asked about the AC unit in my room, the one I had purchased and installed myself. She said no again, said they needed it. But that unit has been sitting in the same corner of my old bedroom, untouched, uninstalled, for 2 years. Just collecting dust like a monument to her pettiness. So no, she doesn't have a key to my apartment. Not because I'm cruel, but because I knew. If she did, she would drop by unannounced, let herself in, cross every line, because that's what she always did. Still, part of me wished I could just say it plainly. Say, "No, I don't want you there. I don't feel safe with you in my space." But I've tried that, and what I get in return is worse. She spirals. "So you hate me? Guess I'm the worst mom in the world. Maybe I should just disappear." Every no becomes a threat, a test of my loyalty, a guilt trip disguised as maternal love. So instead, I talk in half-truths and soft exits. I learned a long time ago that ambiguity is safer. It keeps the peace, even when it shatters something inside me. But that day, the day she texted me, desperate in the heat, I couldn't even manage that. I couldn't keep the peace, or save her feelings, or be the daughter she wanted me to be, because I was just tired. I was working long hours in the sun, shuttling people back and forth all day, my phone buzzing nonstop, and I just didn't have it in me to twist myself into knots again. So I stopped replying. And then came the shame. The fear that maybe I was a bad daughter, that maybe people were right, that no matter how complicated things were, it was still my mom. And I should have done more, been better, let her in. But here's the part they don't see. She still refuses to acknowledge my sexual assault. Worse, she's begged me more than once to visit the relative who did it. Acts like it's no big deal. Like my trauma is negotiable if it makes her life more comfortable. She's never said, "I'm sorry," but she has said, "Can you just get over it?" I've been her sounding board, her crisis manager, her emotional sponge for over a decade. Since I was a teenager, she's poured every boyfriend drama, every heartbreak, every anxiety into me. Even when I begged her to stop. Even when I told her I couldn't carry it anymore. And if I ever cried in front of her, it became about her. My sadness turned into her shame. My pain became her performance. Every vulnerable moment I tried to share was hijacked, reframed as proof that she was a terrible mother, or that no one appreciated her. So yeah, I didn't give her a key. I didn't tell her to come over. I didn't answer her last please. And I'm still wondering, does that make me the villain? Some people online said I should have been clearer, that leaving her on red was cruel, that I strung her along and I should have just said no. I get that, but telling her no has never been just telling her no. It's lighting a match and standing back while she burns the whole room down in guilt and accusations. It's not peace, it's emotional warfare. Others said she could have gone to the library, the mall, a cafe, and she could have. But she didn't want those things. She wanted control. She wanted entry. She wanted to win. And I couldn't give her that. Not at the cost of my sanity. I think about my siblings a lot. They still live with her. They're 21 now. I keep some contact with my mom because of them. Because cutting her off completely would mean losing that thread of family that I still care about. But I'm walking a tightrope every day between obligation and survival. There was one comment that really hit me. Someone said, she didn't need your apartment. She needed to feel like she still had access to you. That's it. That's the whole truth. She wasn't just hot. She was afraid. Afraid that she no longer had power in this relationship. That I no longer needed her. That I wouldn't drop everything to save her. But I'm done being her safety net. I've learned that love without boundaries isn't love. It's sacrifice. And I've been sacrificing myself for too long. Still, the guilt lingers. Because no matter how broken the relationship, she's still my mom. So, am I the asshole? Was I wrong to protect my peace, even when she was uncomfortable? Was I wrong to choose silence over another exhausting emotional battle? Or was I finally doing what I should have done all along, choosing myself? This story is more than just about a hot day and a locked door. It's about what happens when love becomes conditional, when being someone's child means being their caretaker, their therapist, their shield. It's about the quiet exhaustion of people-pleasing, the way some of us learn to speak in coded language, not out of deception, but out of self-preservation. And it's about boundaries, real ones, the kind that feel harsh on the surface, but are actually soft on the soul. We grow up believing we owe our parents everything. But what happens when that debt turns toxic? When giving in means losing yourself? You heard this story. You heard the heartache, the hesitation, the history. Now it's your turn. Would you have handed over the key? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was OP in the wrong? Or was this a moment of hard-won freedom? Let's talk about it. This is AITA Stories. And this was one hell of a story.